The referendum has taken place, and today we will discuss how the Greeks have voted no. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. We're going to get into the results of the referendum today, as well as connect the dots on what this all means. Let's begin with this article out of the Wall Street Journal. Greeks overwhelmingly voted against their international creditors' conditions for further bailout aid in a result that could deepen the rift between Greece and the rest of Europe and push the country closer to bankruptcy and an exit from the euro. What they are suggesting is that they will have to leave the eurozone, but this government had campaigned on the fact that they want to remain in the eurozone. Others on the other side are suggesting that, there really isn't going to be a currency for you if you keep this up. More than 61% of Greeks voted no on Sunday's referendum on austerity measures and other overhauls that European and IMF officials had demanded in recent talks. So what they said was, you have to commit to austerity. You have to give in, or else you're going to be cut off from the eurozone. You're going to be forced to leave. But as I've been discussing right here, there are individuals on both sides here suggesting that, this isn't going to be possible, and others suggesting you have to. So there is a big mess that is occurring right here. But I will definitely suggest to you that this government doesn't want to leave. They were voted in on that policy that they want to remain in the eurozone, whether you like it or not. Then we have this. European officials are putting the onus on the Greek government to make the next move as Chancellor Angela Merkel heads to Paris to talk with the President, François Hollande, to map out a way forward for Greece. So they are really spearheading this here. Angela Merkel obviously being at the head of this, always in discussions consistently, because they're the biggest creditor to Greece and they have the most at stake here. They need to either keep them afloat or begin stealing off their assets. With an emergency summit of European leaders called for Tuesday, fellow Euro region governments are preparing to wait for Greece to offer proposals that enable the country to stay within the 19-nation eurozone. They are trying to basically get them to give in to the demands, and that isn't working out well. But they're suggesting that they're going to have to in order for them to remain within the euro. Tough times indeed. Yanis Varoufakis quit as the Greek finance minister, a move intended to help speed talks with creditors after voters rejected further austerity and escalated tension over the country's place in the euro. So this is very interesting to note here, because initially said that he would vote, or he would actually quit if the vote was yes, and now the vote is no, and he decided to quit. So let's see what he had to say. Varoufakis announced in a decision in a blog post early Monday, saying there was a certain preference among European creditors that he no longer be involved in negotiations. And it really leads on from here. You can scroll down on this article to read his blog post itself. Essentially what we have here is that he wants to be in favor of Greece. He wants Greece to do well, and he's basically suggesting, look, if that's what they want, fine. I'll quit. I'll go and do what I need to do, but you guys can deal with it on your own. I don't believe that, he was necessarily an individual that was preventing any of the negotiations. That's not what it is. This is politics, and that's what it really comes down to. Let's look at this from my book, where I talked about the bailouts that occurred. Ireland, Greece, and Portugal have all received bailouts to keep their economies afloat. The eyes are now on Spain and Italy, as the cracks have begun to show in their markets as well. So all I'm suggesting here is that we have our eyes on Greece, and obviously Greece is very important. I've been covering it consistently, but all nations are suffering. Particularly Spain and Italy are the ones that we need to focus on as well, because let's say the Greek crisis somehow is resolved tomorrow, we immediately need to begin to look at the next countries because they are in a similar situation. They don't have 180% debt to GDP ratio, but when both of those numbers, both the GDP and both the debt, are confirmed to be fraudulent, we don't really know what to look at to really have a good idea anymore. Let's look at this here. Greece and its membership in the Europe's joint currency faced an uncertain future Monday, with the country under pressure to reach a bailout deal with creditors as soon as possible after Greeks resoundingly rejected the notion of more austerity in exchange for aid. Again, they're just suggesting that they want more austerity, but the Greek people are saying, no, we don't want austerity. We just want to continue this forever. With the Greek banks running out of cash and facing the danger of collapse within days without new aid, the government in Athens is racing against the clock. So what we have here is a very pressured situation where the government is basically put in this bind. They have a shortfall in the banking system. At the same time, they are unable to cut back on anything because, of course, the people don't want that at all. I see some compromise going to come from both sides where they kick the can down the road again. That seems like the most likely scenario. Why? Because it's been happening over and over and over again. The euro dropped less than 1%, and stock volatility fell the most in 2 weeks after the referendum. And then this individual here, a market strategist, says, everybody seems to be aware that Greece is an isolated case. So a couple points here. The market dropped less than 1%. So you have a very bad situation, even though, this may be good for the Greek people in the short term, in the long term, who knows? This may be good, saying, no, we don't want austerity. I get that. So what we have here is a situation where, they're saying no to the austerity. We don't know what the future holds for them. And yet the market only drops 1%. What does that say about this market and how fake it is? Now, perhaps the market already priced in the chaos to already occur, and it has come down a few percent, and that that's sort of priced in. But look at this. Everybody seems to be aware that Greece is an isolated case. When I say that, it's so fraudulent, so fake to think that there is isolation in this world of globalization. There is no isolation. I talked about the Euroviral contagion all the time because that's exactly what will happen should there be an issue in Greece. They're already talking about the potential, and this was just an article that I was reading previously about the bail-ins that might occur. This is a global policy. Whether it happens in Greece or not, we know that this is going to happen all throughout the world. There is no isolation. What happens in one country will, in fact, happen in the others. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my book. If you want to flip through the book, you can actually do so at Amazon. They have a look inside feature, which allows you to flip through the book and see if you like it for yourself. Take care.